and thank everyone for coming this evening. And this is our 18th annual scholarship celebration. So we are very excited. We just want you to sit back, relax, and just, you can look in your book and see some of the accomplishments some of these students have done. And it kind of lets us know we've made some good choices. So we're very proud. So we welcome you for coming this evening. My name is Celeste Gibbons-Peoples. I am the president of the Black History Committee. And I want to again welcome you and thank you for attending our 18th annual scholarship ceremony. Ooh, you have to forgive me. Ooh. Been ripping and running. Our master of ceremonies this evening is Mr. Maxon Victor. Mr. Victor grew up in Fort Lauderdale. He's a graduate of the University of South Florida with a bachelor's degree in communications with a minor in leadership studies. While at USF, Mr. Victor served as a member of the Board of Trustees, the Student Government Senator, and the National Pan-Hellenic Council President. He was also the first Haitian student to serve as student body president. He is a former USF homecoming king and a proud member of Zeta Chi Chapter Kappa Alpha Psi, Fraternity Incorporated, excuse me. He's the founder of an ongoing community service project named Stampede of Service, as well as a hip-hop outreach organization called H2O that provides students and local youth the opportunity to express themselves through the arts. He's a youth ministry leader at his church and is a senior prodigy manager for the Boys and Girls Club of Tampa. He's a prime example, and this is for the students, of finding that a proper mix while in college of education and graduating, but also being involved and giving back to his community. So now I turn the program over to Mr. Victor.
Good evening, everyone. You know, it's still uncomfortable, and I'm pretty sure some folks in this room can relate, uncomfortable for you to hear someone talk about you while you're sitting right there. You know, it's better than when you got in trouble and your parents are talking about you, but it's still a little awkward. But first and foremost, let me say good evening to community leaders, proud parents, and amazing young people. And I say amazing young people because that's what it's all about, correct? Yes. All this time and energy is all about recognizing our young people who have done outstanding work and progress over 15, 16, 17. Well, I'll let the parents determine how many great years you had, but we're celebrating their success within recent years. Now, I look around in the room and I see some young people that I've seen over time. I've had the luxury of working with some young people while working with the Prodigy program or the Boys and Girls Club, and so it's great to see young people over time, and you realize that they've got great genes because they're taller than you now. But with all that being said, we're going to begin this celebration. Now, even though your program says ceremony, it's a celebration. So are we going to celebrate, everyone? Awesome. I like that energy. Awesome, awesome. We're going to start with, of course, you know what, and I love this. It's not a party if we're not eating. We're going to start with the invocation and the blessing for the food by Senior Pastor Glenn B. Dames, Jr. Let's give it up.
Amen. I got a sense enough not to stand between you and food. So with that in mind, let us bow our heads. Stony the road we trod, and bitter the chastening rod, felt in the days when hope unborn had died. Yet with a steady beat, have not our weary feet come to the place from which our fathers sighed. And even though it seems like a long time ago, God, it's just a few days ago. But with that, you have brought us a mighty long way. And for that, we are thankful. We are thankful that through many dangers, toils, and snares, you have already proved yourself to be faithful to your people. And if it were not for you, we know not where we would be. Thank you for these gifted and talented young people who have worked hard, who have been challenged and rose to the challenge to make sure themselves prepared, to show themselves prepared. And now thank you for the city of Tampa, who thought it not robbery to make sure these young people are recognized and receive a scholarship to help them as they continue along their way. We ask that you might continue to undergird us, keep us close to you, hold us in the palm of your hand, and even when we would stray, help to remind us that you are still our hope now and even in ages past. Help us to remember that you promised that you would not leave us, nor would you forsake us. And now the food, we thank you that it may be used for the nourishment of our body and strength for our journey. And it's in Jesus Christ's name we pray. Amen.
And that food will be here just a second, y'all. I know folks was like, well, I don't see it's coming. We're just going to keep the program going. At this moment in time, I have the pleasure of introducing someone who I've known for many years. Interesting enough, and she's a young lady, I promise you, she's a young lady still, because I met her many years ago when I first started my journey of working with young people after graduating from USF, and an individual who had so much energy to share and give with young people. I mean, seriously, it doesn't matter how bad the day was. If it was raining outside, every other staff member came in bitter, dissatisfied, but Pavane Scott kept a smile on her face at all times. I'm talking about somebody who's always had great energy. And so you've heard just a tad bit of the lyrics of the songs of the pastor's prayer, but you're going to hear the song sung wonderfully by Miss Pavane Scott. Let's welcome her as she sings the Black National Anthem.
Go home to my Lord and be free. Will you please stand with me as we sing? Lift every voice and sing. Lift every voice and sing till earth and heaven ring with the harmonies of liberty. Let our rejoicing rise high as the listening skies. Let it resound loud as the rolling sea. Sing a song full of the faith that the dark past has taught us. Sing a song full of the hope that the present has brought us. Facing the rising sun of our new day begun. Let us march on till victory is won. Stony the road we trod, bitter the chastening rod, felt in the days when hope unborn had died, yet with a steady beat have not our weary feet come to the place for which our Father sighed. We
with tears have been watered. We have come treading our path through the blood of the slaughtered. Out from the gloomy past, till now we stand at last, where the white gleam of our bright star is cast. God of our weary years, God of our silent tears, Thou who hast brought us thus far on the way, Thou who hast by Thy might led us into the light, keep us forever in the path we pray. Lest our feet stray from the places, our God, where we met Thee. Lest our hearts, drunk with the wine of the world, we forget Thee. Shadowed beneath Thy hand, may we forever stand true to our God, true to our native land. Thank you.
Good evening. Thank you for joining us this evening. We are gathered here to celebrate some of the most talented and brightest graduates in our community this year. These students are being awarded scholarships from the City of Tampa Black History Committee. Each and every scholarship recipient has worked hard to achieve excellence both academically and socially. One of the missions of this organization is to provide financial support for young people in their pursuit of higher education. Students are motivated to dream, achieve, and grow while utilizing scholarship funds to obtain a degree from the university of their choice. So many times we hear about the negative things that our young people are doing through news and social media. This evening, we are here on a positive note to celebrate the outstanding achievements of the shining stars in our community. Our corporate and individual sponsors have provided great support to the City of Tampa Black History Committee and its initiatives. Your support is invaluable. So to our sponsors, we say thank you. This evening, we will award scholarships in the names of our founder and first president, Bobby Bowden, our second president, the late city clerk, Jeanette Martin, the third president, Betty Green Johnson, the Greater Bethel Missionary Baptist Church, in honor of our former City of Tampa dedicated employee, Harold B. Scott, Jr. There are also vocational and technical scholarships and book stipends. On behalf of the City of Tampa Black History Committee, we encourage award recipients to continue to achieve excellence, stay motivated, and embrace the future. Continue to utilize your creativity and talents to give back to your community and to others. Know that it is with these achievements you will become empowered to take your place in future leadership roles. Tonight, on this occasion, we are proud to recognize and congratulate each and every one of our award recipients. Thank you for your attention and enjoy your evening.
Thank you, Ms. Doc. As you can all see, I had to drink some water after we sang that song. Did you hear me whisper? Well, we're singing along. I wasn't ready, but beautifully sung by everyone. In fact, I'm amazed that we can start a choir here with the City of Tampa Black History Council. I think we need to consider that. We can get this thing going. Black History, capitalize during Christmas, do some summer routines, get something prepared for Juneteenth. I really think we have an opportunity to do something awesome, but we'll talk about that later in the committee meeting. At this time, we're going to have greetings. Unfortunately, Frank Reddick could not be with us this evening, but someone outstanding who's joining us to give greetings. Let's welcome the Honorable Harry Cohen, who is Chair Pro Tem of City Council District 4.
Thank you. Thank you very much, and good evening and welcome. I am very, very pleased and honored to be here tonight on behalf of all of my colleagues on the Tampa City Council, particularly Councilman Frank Reddick, who I know very much would have enjoyed being with you tonight. And I want to just say at the beginning how much we appreciate the work of the Black History Committee throughout the entire year. This event is really the culmination of an awful lot of work and an awful lot of events that go on throughout the calendar year. And it really adds to the richness and diversity of our city, all of the programs that you put on and that we put on. I'd like to just say a word to the young people that are here tonight who we are honoring with these scholarships. The theme of tonight's program is unity in the community, and I can't think of a time when not just our community and our city, but also our country and our world need to be more unified. I hope that you, the best and the brightest, will give strong consideration to one day running for office and serving as an elected official in this city or somewhere in this country, because we need you desperately to bring your leadership and the quality of your thinking to all of the problems that we have to solve. So I want you to know that I expect, and I know my colleagues expect, great things from you. And we very much want you to prove to us that these scholarships are going to turn around and inure to the benefit of our city in the future when you're leading it. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Cohen. That means when you guys acquire all your degrees and accolades, come back home, come back to Tampa, because we need you to bring those talents right back here, okay? Don't get stuck in Tallahassee and Gainesville, Miami, wherever you go, don't get stuck, come back. All right, we're planting the seed for you to come back, okay? Don't bear fruit and drop it all off in some other city, okay? Some of y'all are like, I don't want to come back. My mama finna make me, no, I don't, listen. Just come back, all right. Where'd my program go? All right. This next gentleman I'm very jealous of because he never has to worry about what to wear on occasions like this. To give our keynote introduction, let's welcome the Tampa Fire Rescue Chief, Chief Tom Ford.
Thank you, and good evening and greetings to each of you that I have not had the opportunity to speak to or address already this evening. It gives me a great honor to stand before you and introduce you to our keynote speaker this evening. The gentleman that will be presenting to you this morning is a very, very good friend of mine. I've known him for more than 10 years, and he clearly espouses all of the concerns that the City of Tampa's Black History Committee embraces. And all the way from our founder, the esteemed Bobby Bowden, who is here with us on this day, and so many others that are out here today to not only provide to you and present to you those nice scholarships that you have gained and earned, but again, this person really goes a long way and really embracing every initiative and every one of those traits that we saw in you and the scholarship committee saw in you, and to our chair, Mr. Cedric McCrae, and his committee for looking and reviewing all of your essays and doing all of those great things, and for the parents that have supported you, because mom and dad, you're really going to have to support them even more now. Yes, they've earned this, but there's so much more they're going to do. Dr. Loblack, and I'm not going to take any of it, he's a great educator. He's a great motivator, a great administrator, a super mentor. He even mentors the youth and young adults at our church, at the Grace Mary Missionary Baptist Church at 3901 North 37th Street. Pastor Val and Temple AME, I'm just throwing that plug in. I saved him. But Dr. Loblet mentors our youth and young adults over there and our college kids as well. He's a dynamic speaker, of which you will soon hear and realize yourself. He also enhances the excellence and enhances the skill sets of those folk in memory with his motivational speaking. And also he helps those persons, individuals and corporations meet and maximize their full potential. Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, because you didn't stand to hear me, I'm going to stick to the 3 B's. I'm going to be brief, be on time, and I will be seated. But please welcome to the podium the Dr. John Loblack.
The first thing I want to do is to ask all parents to stand for me. Stand and be recognized, because without you, the gentlemen and the ladies would not be here too, and we, by extension, would not be here. Let's give them a round of applause. You may be seated. Too often we hear stories of what parents fail to do, and very seldom we hear of the good works of parents like yourself, so I just wanted to take a moment to recognize you. If I were to ask you to name the most influential person in your life, who would you name? If I were to ask you to share with us 3 stories that you took from that person to mold and shape you into the individual that you are today, which of those 3 lessons or stories would you list? And if I, by extension, were to ask you to stand up and recognize that person for all the contribution, for all the sacrifices that that person made for you, with you, and because of you, would you be brave enough to do that? If you were to ask me those same questions without a doubt, without any hesitation, I would name my mother as the most influential person in my life. My mother raised my brother, my sister, and myself in a house the size of this podium. And back in Dominica, the Eastern Caribbean, where I'm from, there was no running water. My mother only had a 5th grade education. So in my formative years, walking the streets of Roseville, bare feet and partially clothed, she could not read or write. For 27 years, she walked 2 miles to work and 2 miles from work. And it made no difference whether it was 95 degrees and burning hot or whether it was raining cats and dogs. She never complained of the work that she had to do. Now imagine your mother or your loved one washing filth-infested clothes by hand, blood-stained clothes by hand, for a paltry wage of equivalent to $100 a month. Yes, you knew who your father was, but you never saw him at your home. You never got a call on your birthday saying, "Happy birthday, John." And he never attended any of the open houses that we had at the schools that my sister, my brother, and myself attended. And after 20 years of competitive soccer, his face was never one of the faces in the crowd at any of the games that I played. But there was one face that was always there, my mother. And I believe there were 4 reasons, and 4 reasons only, why she did what she did. Number 1, and the most obvious of them, was to put food on the table. Number 2 was to put clothes on the backs of her 3 children. Number 3 was to ensure that the hot peaches did not burn their feet. They needed shoes of some kind. But most importantly, I am convinced beyond a shadow of a doubt that she did it because she did not want her kids to walk the same path that she walked. She wanted them to value education. And as the last of 3, I was the last to get on board. There were times I was supposed to be at school, but you would find me in one of the 365 rivers swimming. I skipped school, and I skipped school because I did not like myself. My peers picked on me. And I hated the teachers, especially Mr. Paul, 6 feet 5 inches tall of a math teacher. And that's why today I still suck at math, excuse my French. It's all Mr. Paul's fault. But why am I sharing the story of my mother and the struggles that she went through for my sister, my brother, and myself? Well, I think after 79 years enough, she must be very proud. Her 3 kids all have graduate degrees from the universities in these United States. So she taught us where you start has absolutely nothing to do with where you finish. But more importantly, she shared with me 3 stories even when she was unconscious that she was sharing those stories. Number 1, accept yourself. Number 2, choose your friends wisely. And number 3, she encouraged us verbally and non-verbally to run as far away as we can from excuses. So my message to you, recipients of the scholarships today, and also to the parents and the rest of us who are here, is number 1, accept yourself. Because I promise you, as hard as you look, as long as you search, you will never find someone else just like you. It simply means you're one of a kind. And as hard as the medical professionals will try to duplicate you, they just can't. They might make someone with similar features as yourself, but your DNA, they will never be able to duplicate. But why is it important for you to accept yourself? If you do not accept yourself, guess what? No one else will. So how, Dr. Loblack, should I go about learning to accept myself? Well, the simplest message I can share with you as far as that is concerned is don't compare yourself with others. And parents, do not compare siblings with each other. And if you happen to be a teacher, don't compare students with each other. Because every single student brings something unique, something special, something distinguished, something authentic to the table. We just need to be a little more patient with them and pull it out from them. Now, when people give you a hard time because they think that you carry yourself in such a way to give the impression that you're all that and then some, tell them, I don't think I am all that and then some. I am all that and then some. Because we have a problem with confident people. We need to be. So accept yourself. Pay no attention to those who think you're egoistical. Everything starts on the inside and radiates on the outside. So love yourself for who you are, because no one walks like you, no one talks like you, no one does what you do in the way that you do. A couple of days ago, I was at the hospital with my wife doing occupational therapy. And I was writing, trying to figure out, what am I going to write? What am I going to share? And the occupational therapist said, what are you doing? I said, I'm writing a speech that I'm supposed to share with some teenagers. She said, oh, what are you writing about? Then I mentioned acceptance. I mentioned choosing your friends wisely. She said, that's interesting. You know, just the other day, I was having a conversation with my mother. My mother is 80 years old, she said, and she still does everything she used to do when she was 50. So I said to her, Mom, you know, you're amazing. I could never do all that you do. I could never do this, I could never do that. And she was blown away when her mother said, that's good. That's good? Yes, it's good. Because I looked at you ever since you were born, and I wish I could do some of the things that you do. So you know what, Kim? Let us sign an agreement. You be the best you, and I'll be the best me. That's my message to you, because the best other person has already been taken. The second lesson I learned from my mother about choosing your friends wisely, it is said that misery loves company. But I promise you this, if you study the lives of successful people, you will find that their friends are other successful people. And if you study the lives of failures, you will find their friends are also. Therefore, if you want to be the next, and I not so much so want to use his name, but it's one that comes to mind, Ben Carson. He was a great neurosurgeon. Politics, that's a different story. We leave that alone. But if you want to be a next great neurosurgeon, guess what you must do? Study the lives of neurosurgeons and surround yourself with people who may be going in the same direction, not necessarily wanting to be neurosurgeons. So you'll be the wind beneath your wings, and they'll be the wind beneath your wings. It makes no sense to me, and hopefully to you, that if you want to be the brightest, all your friends are, quote unquote, the dumbest. It makes no sense to me if you want to be a sprinter, you're hanging out with those who want to be a quarter miler. No, I'm not saying to eliminate every single individual who's going in a different direction from your life, but be selective as to who you invite in your circle. A number of years ago, when I was in Connecticut, I gave a similar message about goal setting and about negative people. And about 10 minutes later, an 8th grader came to me and said to me, "What about my family? What if they're negative? I cannot stop them from being my family." I said, "No, you can't. But you can watch what you share with them. You don't have to share everything with them. And by the way, not every single member of your family wants you to accomplish all that you want to accomplish. Be judicious as to who you invite in your circle. Know where you want to go, and if you know where you want to go, it will be easier for you to identify individuals who are going in a similar direction. If you know what you want, the doors will be opened up to you so that it will be easier for you to attract those individuals who are moving in a similar direction." And the last story I learned from my mother, out of thousands that I choose to share with you, is run as far away as you can from excuses. If you are known as someone who is good at making excuses, as Benjamin Franklin said, you will be known as someone who is seldom good at anything else. You will find yourself with less and less people who come forward willing to help you. The more you take responsibility for your actions, the more willing others will be to provide you with the support you need to go in the direction that you want to go. Now, it's entirely up to you. It's entirely up to you. It's not your mother's fault. It's not your father's fault. They did what they could, and let us find ways in us to give them recognition for the little or for the much that they did. They did what they could. The responsibility is now ours to take it from where they left it and make the rest of us the best of us. And if we can do that, young parents like my mother will be very proud of you. And I promise you, if you accept yourself, if you choose your friends wisely, and if you eliminate excuses from your vocabulary, one of those days we'll be singing your praises. I thank you.
I think as well, I can say, and I'm quite sure there's several others, that his mom may have been on the islands, but she spoke the same as the moms. At least my mama spoke the same way. Dr. LoBlack, this is just a small appreciation for coming and encouraging us as well as our students this evening for our scholarship program. Thank you so much.
Dr. LoBlack from Dominica. Oh, okay, come on. Man, first of all, let me say this, because I've visited Dominica before. And has anyone else visited Dominica ever? Probably the most beautiful island I've ever seen. Would you probably say that, Mr. LoBlack?
I would say
Dr. LoBlack?
because the only country in the eastern Caribbean that Christopher Columbus would still recognize if he comes back today.
It's natural beauty, natural beauty. Now, you made the statement of skipping school and swimming in those rivers. That's like going to Busch Gardens every day. So I'm glad you made the choices in your later life, but if you've got Busch Gardens in your backyard every day, you know, the nibblefish, the black sand, the waterfalls, I can understand why it was a little difficult. But I'm pretty sure you ran from those after your mama did something else. But thank you so much for those words. And all my adults here, you all gave something that was kind of like a hearty amen when he said, choose your friends wisely. Some of y'all sound like I got some friends I've been trying to get rid of for a long time. Your grunts were so heavy and strong, my. And I see some gray in here with some heavy mm-hms. If you haven't gotten rid of them by now, I don't think you're ever going to get rid of them, okay? But I want to say thank you again, Dr. LoBlack. Thank you again. Give it up.